Minimalists.
I think first, let's talk about the tool. That's something that really stood out with me in the social dilemma. I think it was Tristan who said, we look at this thing like it's a tool, but a tool sits around and it waits patiently for you to use it.
Yeah.
Where social media is constantly demanding something from you.
Yeah.
So it's not that it still can't be used as a tool.
Bingo.
But I think that sometimes we make an excuse. Oh, well, it's just a tool that we use.
Yeah.
But the question is are we using it or is it using us?
Yeah, I think here's what I'm speaking to myself here when I say you. I want you to be clear about that. If you have social media on your phone, you're being played. It's that simple.
Oh, yeah.
And so I know we're going to talk about some strategies and some nuances, but there are two things that I want you to get out of this episode if you stop it right after this. Number one, take all social media off your phone if you can. And if you can't, take all personal social media off your phone. I'll make that distinction. There are business reasons. We can get in that probably during the Maximal episode. We'll talk about whether or not social media is actually beneficial for business and how it might be, how it might not be as well. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is what our friend Cal Newport calls the foyer rule. So, or the foyer if you live in a nice palatial estate. I don't have either. I have a very tiny hallway when you walk into my apartment. I have a junk drawer, though. As soon as you walk in, it's in my kitchen, which is attached to that hallway there. And that's where I keep my phone. Now, it's not that I never use my phone when I'm at home. I certainly do. But when I do want to use it, I go and grab the phone out of the junk drawer.
There's a little friction.
Yeah, creating that friction. And even then, I don't have social media apps on my phone. I also don't have email on my phone. That's a choice. And then what's happening? I'm turning it back into the tool that it was intended to be.
Yeah.
Steve Jobs was in the social dilemma very briefly.
Yeah.
And he certainly didn't intend for this to be what it is today, a distraction machine that is with you in perpetuity. He was trying to merge a Palm Pilot with a iPod with a flip phone, basically, so that you had all of this and you had a little mini computer in your pocket. The intention was never to curate your attention, to cultivate your attention as many hours as possible in order to sell you advertisements.
Yeah. He likened it to like a bicycle for your mind or something.
Yeah,
right.
It kind of reminds me, it makes me think about like when we're talking about this being a tool and we think about what actually is coming from this experience of using this tool, I feel like it reminds me of like having an Amazon Echo that tells you you're not good enough. You know, like that. It's like a tool that like kind of assaults you. It, like in the middle of the day, like it kind of has an impact on your mind that you wouldn't necessarily expect versus like a hammer. Like if you don't touch it, nothing really happens. Like it just sits on a table. But like social media is like a hammer that comes up and hits you in the face.
Yeah.
Like if you respond to it in the way that it's designed for you to respond to it.
Well, let's talk about that tool, because I think that a smartphone can be a tool, and it can also be a bludgeon in a way where it becomes a hammer that grows legs and chases you around the place, right? And you're like, and so I think that the TV was never much of a tool, right? And so we recognized it. There's even euphemisms for the boob tube or whatever, right? Like we recognized that, like, that's where I'm going to go veg out. We even use this terminology, like I'm a vegetable standing in front of this. Like I'm not an animate life form.
Now we veg out at a red light.
Exactly.
Now we veg out in a waiting room. Yeah.
Right. We've removed these interstitial zones, the waiting rooms, the red lights, the walks that we would take without the earbuds in or whatever, where we would have time. We'd make time for boredom. We'd make time for ourselves. We'd make time to be alone with our thoughts, to sort of, remember with old PCs, you would defrag them. Do you remember this?
Yes.
Yeah, and so like you have to run like a defragging sequence on a computer in order to like keep it running smoothly. Right. And I feel like that's where those interstitial zones, that's what they gave us, was a sort of defragging moment at the red light, at the airport lobby, where you didn't have access to constant contact, and therefore people couldn't constantly contact you. I mean, now if I have social media on my phone, and even if I don't have the notifications turned on, there's the pull to say, Or did someone at me? Did someone like my tweet? How many retweets did I get? How many shares? Whatever it is on Facebook. Like there are all of these sort of metrics that we're chasing, and we're chasing the wrong thing. I mean, I think that's the craving. You know, the Buddhists call it the four truths, but one of them is craving, and I think that is more pronounced than ever.